Nugent-Hopkins. If you have questions, please use the raise hand function. We'll start with Rob Ditchkowski, Post Media.
Hi, Ryan. Just maybe take me through yesterday. What was that like when you're getting ready for a hockey game and next thing they know, they tell you to go back to the hotel? Was it a little bit surreal?
Yeah, it was definitely, I'd be lying if I said it wasn't a bit of a strange feeling. Some guys had some equipment on. I was kind of just finishing my warm-up and about to get ready, and they told us. So, you're the mindset kind of flips right away. You're like, yeah, it was a bit of a weird situation, but obviously other teams have gone through it, and it's kind of the situation we're in this year. So we kind of rolled with it and go from there.
I guess that's all you can do in this day and age. Did you guys have any advance warning that this was coming up on the horizon, or was it just totally out of the blue?
Yeah, we didn't get much warning. I don't know how it all worked out, but like I said, it was kind of just before we went out for warm-ups, and we got told. So it was a bit of a shock to everybody. But yeah, I mean, obviously it's one of those things that we're working through right now, and you guys just got to roll with it.
Bob Stauffer, 630 Ched.
Well, Montreal's a great city at the best of times, but maybe not right now to spend 5 days in. But just on that note, can you maybe express to us, Brian, just how incredibly disciplined you guys have got to be on a day-to-day basis? I mean, you're getting tested all the time, and maybe just sort of explain the lengths of what you guys are going through just to be able to try to pull this off.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we want to keep it out of the locker room. That's a huge important thing this year. You just absolutely cannot bring it in, and so guys are being smart. Nobody's risking anything, and I mean, the setup this year at the hotel is they have nice lounges and stuff for us to hang out in, and ping pong tables, that kind of thing. So they've made it easier to stay in a hotel for multiple days, and that's just what we're doing. I mean, it's like you said, Montreal is a great city. We'd love to be able to go out for dinner and stuff like that, but it's just not possible this year.
And from a hockey perspective, I mean, you got to be flexible with dealing with the pandemic, but you yourself literally have to be flexible shift by shift right now. How did the move back to center go the other night? And is that part of what you have to be able to do right now, just in terms of being open and willing to move from left wing to center if need be?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I've done it a couple times this year, and so the transition's not too difficult. And I've played with most of the guys now, so it's definitely one of those situations where you just gotta go with it. And I mean, obviously, I played center most of my life, so I'm definitely comfortable down there. And it's a bit of an adjustment right away, and after a couple shifts, it's easy to get into.
Mark Spector, Sportsnet.
So is it fair to call this rest for your team? Like, even though it's unexpected, can this go down in the books as a couple days off, or is it different when it comes by surprise?
Well, I mean, yeah, we didn't play last night, so definitely it's a bit of a rest. We've been going pretty hard here, pretty much every second day, and a couple back-to-backs mixed in there. So a couple days off. Obviously, we get to rest the body a little bit. Should do us good.
I know it's not your call, Ryan, but as a guy that's playing, would you rather get these Montreal games in before you get back to Edmonton somehow, some way, or leave them till May and make them up at the end? Does it make a difference to you?
Well, I mean, I think ideally we'd just like to keep the schedule the way it is and play the games as we can or as we're supposed to, and not have to make them up at the end. I know that's a situation with a lot of teams, especially in the States right now, but they're going to have to make some up at the end. But obviously, ideally, we just want to get them done and not have to do that extra week at the end.
John Liu, TSN.
Hi, Ryan. I'm just wondering, what needs to happen between now and tomorrow night for you, your teammates, your coaches, to feel completely safe to play tomorrow's game?
Well, I mean, I think we're just kind of trusting the NHL right now to follow the right protocols and keep everybody out there safe. And right now, I mean, we're preparing for a game. We don't know what's going to happen. I'm sure we'll find out soon, but we're preparing like we are playing tomorrow, and just got to go from there. And obviously, our mindset's got to be we're playing tomorrow, and we need a big win.
If all the Canadiens test negative today, tomorrow, whenever all those PCR tests come back, would that be sufficient to set your mind at ease about playing tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's I guess the NHL has to deem what's safe and what's not safe, and I mean, if there's not a lot of close contacts, things like that, no other positive tests, then yeah, I mean, we'll be ready to go.
Herb Zurkowski, Montreal Gazette.
Thank you, Ryan. Thanks for your time. I joined, I hooked up late, so excuse me if you've been asked this before, but of course your team was in the sequence or habit of playing every other night, saying that you're in the midst of playing 12 and 21 days. So what's your initial assessment? Is the extra rest good, or, you know, considering the team's in a bit of a groove, any concern about losing momentum?
No, I do think that a couple days off here and there gives ourselves a chance to rest and get the proper recovery. It's been a pretty intense stretch here, and we were prepared to keep doing that. But I don't think a couple days off like this will hurt us at all.
Great, thank you.
Quinn Phillips, Global.
Hi, Ryan. You know, every one of us out there gets COVID fatigue. Is this kind of a reminder of just how quickly things can change?
Yeah, for sure. First time in, I believe it's the first time in our division it's happened. So we've been pretty lucky. Obviously, guys have been taking care of themselves, being safe, and but it's happened down there. So it's in the States, and teams have had to go through it. So, I mean, obviously, we knew that was a possibility. And when it happened last night, it was still a bit of a shock. But yeah, like I said before, it's just it's one of the things we're dealing with right now, and it's a situation that we're in, and just kind of got to roll with it and prepare for the next one.
Thank you.
There are no other questions. This includes our Nugent-Hopkins media availability. Thank you. By Darnell Nurse. If you have questions, please use the raise hand function. Bob Stauffer, 630 Ched.
Morning, Darnell. Can you maybe sort of take us through what transpired before yesterday's game, and maybe just a thought on how the pandemic has challenged everybody to go with the flow, and it was that kind of part of it yesterday as well.
Yeah, it was well, unexpected because you're in the pre-game routine. For me, I was taping my sticks, and I think Harry came in and then told us that the game wasn't on, and I think it was that Harry's a pretty funny guy, so we thought he was kind of joking at first, and then came to find out the game was actually canceled. So it was obviously a different experience, something we haven't experienced in this North Division. But I mean, that's the world today. That's the world during this pandemic. You have to be flexible. You have to roll with the punches, and can't let that derail what we have going on here. You just gotta roll with it, and now we have a couple of days to get some rest and our legs under us, and you just gotta make the most of the time.
Can you maybe speak to the sort of discipline every guy that's part of every person that's part of your travel party has to have to ensure that you have the best possible chance to get through it and put your team in a position where you guys can play?
Yeah, obviously there's a lot of trust that goes on from person to person, within the team, management, coaching staff, to media, everyone that travels with us. I think as a person, you're trusting the person beside you that you're taking care of what you need to keep this virus out of the room and away from the club. So it's been great so far. Everyone has been extremely responsible. Everyone has been, not just with stay within the hotel rooms and the confines of our facilities, but making sure you're washing your hands, things like that, wearing masks. So it's been good, and like I said, it comes with the trust. And I mean, everyone's been holding themselves accountable first, and that's why I've had been able to play so many games so far.
Rob Tchaikovsky, Post Media.
Hey, Darnell, for a while, we all kind of thought that the North Division was going to be exempt to all of this. Does this sort of remind you that how easily things can get derailed and to not take really anything for granted?
Yeah, you can't take anything for granted. I think that's how this world is right now. Just because we haven't had to deal with it here in the North doesn't mean that we're immune to it all. So it's a good reminder that what we need to do to keep this thing rolling and how important all the details in the day-to-day. And the people putting in the time to keep everyone safe, how important it is to maintain those guidelines and maintain that focus on keeping this thing going. I think, like I said, we've been doing a good job as a team, and we need to continue to do that. And I think that the division as a whole has been doing a great job. So I can't let one thing derail it.
You talk about adaptability, and man, you guys are playing in quarantine bubbles. You're getting tested every day. You've got a truncated season. I mean, this is a season of nothing but challenges. What is the key to just staying sane and moving ahead?
I mean, you just got to embrace it. With all this uncertainty, all these different things going on this season, I mean, it's easy to sit back and complain about everything that you have to go through, but you just have to embrace it. It's a different challenge. It's a different challenge that I think we'll all look back at later on in our careers and say, we played a 56-game season and hopefully get through a 56-game season in the pandemic. And, I mean, for us, it's not much we can complain about. We get to come out here and do our jobs and play the game that we love. So to make some sacrifices to be able to do that shouldn't be much for guys.
John Liu, TSN.
Hi, Darnell. If by game time tomorrow, all PCR tests from the Canadiens come back negative, would that be sufficient reassurance for you to go ahead and play the game on Wednesday?
Yeah, for me, I think you trust the health officials and the league. They've been obviously through these circumstances and situations in the teams in the South, in the States, and I mean that's you listen to our health officials, and they're going to make the best call. And if it's safe, we'll be able to play, and if not, they'll shut it down. So you got a lot of trust in them.
The last time you were in Montreal, Yessi ended up on the COVID protocol list. On some level, do you feel empathy for the Canadiens, what they are going through that was somewhat similar to what your team did back on February 11th?
Yeah, I mean, it's you kind of feel for him because going through that. Luckily Jesse, he had a false positive, but at the time, like. As a team and everyone around, you want to make sure everyone's safe. Guys have kids, have kids and families at home, and they worry about them. So you kind of you feel for them because kind of the thoughts that are going through their head right now, today, and probably yesterday. So, but like I said, this is the world that we're living in right now. It's a world of adaptability, and it's part of it.
Mark Spector, Sportsnet.
You've played lots of hockey. I know it hasn't happened in the NHL. You ever had a game canceled right before like this? Junior or something like that?
I'm not sure if I've ever had one canceled, especially as close to the game. I can't think of one. Snowstorms and stuff back in the day, but none this close. Yeah.
So is this, on one hand, you're getting ready to play and you don't get a game. On the other hand, you don't have to play and you get some rest. Is there some positives here, right? You guys been playing lots of hockey. You get a couple days off here. Is that a bad thing, or would you rather keep rolling?
I think we've been talking about adaptability a lot, but just embrace it. I mean, we have a couple of days to rest our legs. So we got to make the most of that opportunity to rest up. And because say you have a couple of days off here, it's going to be made up somewhere else. So the schedule's tight. It's a lot of hockey still left to be played. So you got to make if you get a few days off, you got to make the most of it.
Elizabeth Brancourt, TVA.
Yes, hi, Darnell. Quick question. We don't know about the next two games, but I know the Canadiens can't train today. You guys had a practice, but what's the biggest challenge you would say if you can't play tomorrow's game or next game? Is it that the players or the team can be losing momentum or be out of the game shape?
No, I don't think we'll. I think our coaches and our fitness, strength and conditioning coaches, I think they'll put in things to make sure that we stay physically ready for the upcoming games. There's usually stretches over the course of seasons where you get 3, sometimes 4 days off. So obviously, hopefully we're able to play some games in these upcoming games. But if not, we have to be able to go with the flow and adapt.
Thank you. There are no more questions. This concludes Darnell Nurse's media availability. Coach Dave Tippett. Again, if you have questions, please use the raise hand function. Herb Zurkowski, Montreal Gazette.
Thank you. Hey, Dave. Thanks for your time. So what does the coach of an NHL team do in the big city on a Monday night during the pandemic when his game is suddenly canceled?
Go back to your hotel and have dinner, or go back to your hotel. That's the world we live in right now, in a bubble between hotel and rink. That's about it. So a little bit shocking. I've been around the league a long time, and there's been some times when games have been canceled because of a lockout or something, but getting postponed 15 minutes before warm-up is that one's never happened before. The players were surprised. In the coach's room, we saw the two names come out at about 5 o'clock on the email, but we wondered if where things were going to go. But it looked like everything was fine. And then Ken Holland phoned me about 15 minutes before warm up and told us that it was postponed. So went back to the hotel and had dinner, and just got to wait and see what happens, I guess.
Your team's obviously in a bit of a groove. It has some momentum going, and now that has been interrupted. So is this a positive or a negative? And I guess we'll find out hopefully tomorrow night.
Well, you know what? I know we've talked about it a lot. I'm sure every team has that. It's not a normal season. There's going to be challenges that come in and out, and you just have to deal with them. I mean, last time we were in here, we lost Pugliarvi for the day on a false positive, and then Koskinen couldn't play because he had gone for a walk with them. And, they're just things that are happening that you have to. We've talked about, and you got to roll with the punches a little bit, and that's exactly where it's at. We know that we're going to have to make up the game somewhere, and it's just part of what we're dealing with this year. So hopefully it's not a big concern. You just continue to move on, and you look at the game in front of you. That's when you got to prepare for, and hopefully you play well.
Bob Stauffer, 630 Chad.
Hey, Dave. Your team has shown some maturation year to year here from when you came aboard. We just heard from Ryan Nugent-Hopkins and Darnell Nurse, and they just seem to be able to go with the flow with this. Is this just a byproduct of how people today have to, you just have to kind of roll with this, and you talk about not getting too high or getting too low, and just got to recalibrate and get refocused for when you do play next.
That's exactly it. And like I just mentioned, it's not a normal year at all. So everybody, you recognize that going in, and I think part of it, we've been pretty fortunate. We had the one incident here with Jesse, but players hear and they see what's going on around the league, and it's not out of the norm to have a game canceled. So it's unfortunate it happens to us, but you just deal with it and move on. But our group is, I think the maturity in our group is real solid, like you say, not too high, not too low. We got continue to improve, and don't let situations like this deter you from what you're trying to do.
Mark Spector, Sportsnet.
So it's probably going to end up one of two ways, Dave. I don't know how many games you're going to miss here. Hopefully just the one. You guys, the league will try to make that game up in the next short period of time, or save it till May in that last week before the playoffs. Would you rather get this game played before you get back to Edmonton, or would you like to preserve that week at the end? Do you care either way?
No, you just, and until we find out, you'll read and react when it happens. That it's going to be a quirk. You just have to deal with it. If we can fit it in somewhere when we're out east here, that would be good. But if you can't fit it in, you can't put yourself, at a disadvantage somewhere else just to try to fit it in. You got to. If you have to fit it in the end of the year, that's what's going to have to happen. So we'll see. I mean, I know Ken deals with that, and the league, and whatever it comes out, we just have to deal with and make the best of it.
So you'll get some rest here, you guys, unexpected rest, but in this season, I would think getting a couple days can't hurt any, no?
You got to try to take advantage of it. It was amazing. We had a real up-tempo practice out there. I thought the guys were in great spirits, so maybe the extra day was good for them.
Alexis Boulanger.
Hi, you just touched on it a little bit, but at what point do you feel that this stretch, if it goes longer, can become a problem or an issue or a concern for you with your group about game shape or stuff like that? And what can you do even now to make sure?
Basically, my thought on it right now is I'm not going to worry about it until I find out where we're at. If we play tomorrow night, then we only miss one game, and we'll have to find the one game. So, you can't think about things down the road or miss a week. We'll deal with that when it comes. But right now, we're just preparing for a game tomorrow, and that's our focus here. And we'll see how things pan out. But you know right from the get-go, you're going to have to read and react in some of these situations. And our group's done a pretty good job of it, and we'll do that. However this situation ends up, also.
It was the challenge over the last. Let's say a little bit over 12 hours, more mental about the uncertainty that you've gone through throughout last evening and even today, just waiting for something?
No, I mean, our guys were good last night. We had dinner as a team, and we just normal, and we'll get up today and have a good practice, and we'll see where things go today. There's no concern for everybody. It's just what it is, and we'll deal with it and move on.
Quinn Phillips, Global.
Hi, Dave. COVID fatigue is definitely something we've all suffered from. Is this a reminder of, how quickly things can change if you aren't diligent?
Yeah, I would guess so. I mean, I don't know. As far as I know, I mean, you talk to the players, everybody is trying to be as careful as possible, and more so than probably the normal public. I think Canada is tighter than the U.S. right now, and but it is what it is. We've been in this bubble situation, or kind of really watching ourselves for a long time, and that's just become the norm for us now. So it's unfortunate that there's situations like this that happen, but we all knew that there was a possibility this might be, and you just got to deal with it and make sure it doesn't affect you.
Thank you.
Thank you. If there are no more questions, this concludes today's media availability.
Edmonton!